So there is an issue going on with older producers. It's kind of a bad thing, but it's kind of a good thing at the same time. But we're going to discuss it right now.
Bolo!
All right, so let's go ahead and set some boundaries real quick. Let me say this video is probably for everybody that is like 40 years old and up. And you have to be a music producer that mainly produces in like hip hop, okay? Hip hop, and a little bit of R&B, but mostly like hip hop and rap, whatever you want to call it. But there's an issue that's going on with a lot of older producers that I was having a conversation with one of my other guys. He's actually just turned 40, and he was noticing a few things, and I felt that everything he was saying was actually right. And this is one of these studio conversations that we have. But it was very interesting, and I want to see what you guys think about it. I want you guys to comment at the end of the video and let me know if what I'm saying has some truth to it or not. However, what I have noticed with older producers is that even though a lot of these older producers are very, very, very good, they have a problem connecting with younger artists. Meaning when they make beats, the younger artists are not necessarily feeling the beats, even though a lot of the beats are very, very, very good. And what I was kind of alluding to my homeboy in the conversation that we was having was that it's not necessarily the beats are bad. It's not that. It's just that the beats that a lot of these older producers are making are beats that require artists that actually know how to rap on those beats, which kind of leads down the road of, are a lot of these new artists kind of not good in a sense? And I don't want to say trash, I don't want to say that, but I know a lot of these new artists have their own lanes. I know a lot of these new artists have new ways of rapping, and I don't want to seem like the old guy here. I don't want to do that because I actually still produce for a lot of these younger guys, but I have noticed a trend when it comes to a lot of these younger artists, unless they're kind of like doing Pain type of a records, a lot of the stuff that they're putting out are not really put together as good as I think they should be. And that's just my opinion. There are some very good young rappers out there still, but they still kind of don't connect with older producers, because I think a lot of times, even with older producers, we kind of produce in a way to where we think that these rappers, should, come on these particular beats. And a lot of times, what I've noticed, another thing is a lot of older producers, they kind of produce music that they liked when they were younger. Like I made a video about this a while back. A lot of times, once you hit around about 25, 27, you're kind of locked into your style. And a lot of these older producers are kind of produce in that same style to this day. And it's kind of like a disconnect between the older to the younger. That's why a lot of these older artists are kind of going back to, getting production from these older producers, because that production fits their style, because a lot of the older artists know how to actually rap on those beats to where they actually sound really good. As you guys have seen, Nas has put together some amazing products, and he did a lot of stuff with Hit Boy, which I'm not saying Hit Boy is like older, but Hit Boy, yeah, boy, you in unk status now, bruh. You in unk status. I remember the days I used to be over there at Zach's, and you and Chasing Cash and All the fellas used to be over there, and this was a time when Polo was over there, and he was working with Rich Boy at that time. So yeah, bro, I think you getting up there in unk status right now. But he's done some amazing projects with like Nas and a few other people, and he's one of those producers that kind of knows how to mold the old with the new and still kind of gives it life in a sense. But it still requires people who actually know how to come on those tracks the right way. And I feel that the disconnect is something that is what's really going on with hip hop. I think hip hop is really trying to correct itself in a sense. And I'm not necessarily saying that everybody's going to go back to being b-boy spitters or nothing like that, but I think hip hop is starting to come to a correction point where people are really starting to want substance right now. I think people really want to hear real stories. I think people want to hear songs that are being put together the right way and not just a whole bunch of words just rhyming and then there's a hook. Because that's what a lot of this stuff, that's what a lot of stuff is going on right now. It's just a whole bunch of rhyming words for 12 to 8 bars, 8 to 12 bars, and then there's a hook. And then the second verse is just a whole bunch of rhyming words, and then there's another hook. And there's no real story to these beats. There's nothing really to follow with these songs and beats. It's just rhyming words and hook. And I think people right now really want to get more out of that. And I think there's a lot of beats by older producers that are being passed on by a lot of these younger guys because they simply don't know how to put together like really good songs. And I could be tripping, okay? Now, not to say there's not any young guys out here, young gals out here that cannot do that. There's a few of them, but I'm saying mainstream, like the stuff you're going to hear on the radio, stuff you're going to see that's being pushed out. And, just my experience of being in the studio, I'm hearing a lot of the same stuff over and over again from these younger guys. And then when you try to present them with some stuff like, hey, why don't you try this? It's kind of like it's foreign to them. It's like, nah, I can't do that. I just want to do this. And I think, with a lot of, older producers who have had tons of success, I think, just me, this is just my opinion, and I could be wrong, and I want you guys to, talk about in the comment section. I think that that's a huge disconnect, and I think it's a disservice to a lot of really talented producers because there are some really talented producers, like people, like, just think of some of these young artists, if they just really took their craft in a certain way and they got on somebody like a Battle Cat beat. Like Battle Cat is probably one of the dopest producers ever. But you don't hear as many beats like Battle Cat beats, even though he's still producing a lot. And I heard a lot of his beats at NAMM, and it's like crazy. But just imagine if we had a new age of rappers who really just wanted to embrace, making good records on really good beats like that again. And, I think that's like a huge issue that's going on with producers who are like I said, like 40 and up, who kind of have like their established sound from when they were younger. And I just think that a lot of these younger artists are just picking beats that just sound convenient to just spit a whole bunch of words and just bring in a hook. So yeah, it's an issue that I've seen and I've talked about with other people. But I want to have this conversation with you guys as well. I know I was kind of bouncing around with little things with this, but I want to hear your thoughts on this. I wanted to hear what you guys have to say. Some of you guys who are older, producers, some of you guys who are younger producers, have you noticed this? Have you noticed this pattern of people just doing a whole bunch of rhyming words and then they just have a hook and then they come back and just do a whole bunch of rhyming words and they come up with another hook and that's the song? Or do you actually have younger artists who are making some really good songs that are actually putting out, like really good put together songs that just maybe have not had a chance to work with some of these really good producers. But y'all let me know. Y'all let me know your thoughts. Let me know your feelings. This is just something that I just want to, present to you guys to have a conversation with. And I want you guys to share this with your friends, and make sure you comment in the comment section and let me know what you think. So hope you guys enjoyed the discussion. I hope you guys may have learned something or got something out of it. And like I always say, peace out.